The last time I seen my father dance was at his wedding. Or maybe it was the last college reunion I accompanied him to. Either way, the memory escapes me just as quickly as his feet forgot the rhythm in the blues. How many times do we ask black boys what's happened to you? How many spaces have been created for them to detail coming of ages and what that turned them into? How much anxiety are black boys shouldering while shouldering the responsibility of being men and then father, all while lacking active depictions of both? This ain't no pity poem. Rather, a conversation on the generations of trauma passed down like heirloom to black men like my father, who are still just boys too. Often reduced to euphemisms like, boys will be boys. So we missed the opportunity to raise them in their humanity, to teach them how to maintain their sanity in a world that's shown them cuffs as the perfect accessory. I know black boys that learned to strangle themselves and each other so the cops never had to. I know black boys who've had the boy stomped out of them in less time than it takes me to finish this sentence. I've seen mothers try to drown joy into the hearts of sons for fear it won't beat long enough for him to dance at his own wedding. I've seen fathers show black boys that the only purpose for his wings is to help him disappear into the illusion of safety. I bear witness to villages that still don't know how to raise them. To be black and boy is to live a life walking amidst the contradictions, to be too much of anything for anybody to handle properly, to be asked to be safety when their finger is on the trigger, to be sponge enough to take the bullet, hard enough to not cry about it after, and tough enough to keep moving while the womb is still bleeding. To my brothers, a bit of unsolicited advice. You are enough as you are, even with the fistful of tears that you were never taught to handle properly. Unclench your fingers. Release the misgivings that you've been given about what it means to be boy while being black. Free yourself. Take your life back. For I would relish in the opportunity to love you exactly as you are and not just your mask. Dear Daddy, I want the chance to dance with my father again. But this time, let's dance the rhythm that was in your bones before your father showed you his peace in absenteeism, before the streets felt like the only man to ever embrace you back, before your hood became synonymous with being trapped, before the ball became your way out, before life depressed the boy out of you. I want to see you dance until your rhythm gets its joy back.
Quite truly. Oh my goodness. I love that I know great poets.
Yeah.
Lord, that was a great cold open. Thank y'all for tuning in to another episode of The Spotlight. I am Dime. I am obviously not Jerome. I am Dime. And I thank you guys for being here. Thank you for tuning in live on Cluster TV. I'm here with the amazing Mr. B Rock, all the way from Baltimore, Maryland. Mm-hmm. Right? How do you feel like Baltimore influenced who you are?
Ooh, we jumping right into it. Well, in the words of Unique, I had to unclench my fists. Man, and that really sums it up. It really taught me a lot, you know what I'm saying, how to survive out here in the world, how to, look out for myself, how to be protective, how to, protect myself, So I'm grateful for everything that Baltimore taught me, for sure.
I feel like that's a reoccurring theme in a lot of your poems as well.
Yeah.
Protection of self and of the people that you love.
Oh yeah. So I grew up with 6 little sisters, you know what I'm saying?
Whoa.
2 my whole life, 3 most of my life, and then I discovered a couple along the way, inherited some along the way. And I was pretty much the only man in the house for significant periods of my life. So that kind of played a huge role in how I am today, for sure. Yeah.
I don't really know you, but you are a good man. Hey.
What's going on? You're not Jerome. All right.
I'm not Jerome.
Freaky Friday, right.
Oh, yeah. You started doing poetry in college.
Yeah, I did.
You were majoring in engineering and poetry just kind of found you.
I was majoring in economics. Yeah, economics. Yeah. It was you on it. Okay, you're a little breakfast club going on. You what's that girl named? Lauren LaRose. Okay, LaRose. Anyway, I had a different major and I discovered spoken word, or I say spoken word discovered me at the end of my freshman year, and from there it was just on and popping. Yeah, I switched my major, everything. It just is night and day from the day I discovered spoken word. Yeah.
Whoa. What really prompted the change of major? Because you could have just done poetry on the side and did.
I think it was that initial reaction. So my first poem that I performed, so just to give you some slight backstory, at the end of my freshman year, I had written one poem at that point in my life. And that was like a year before. It was about this shorty. It was terrible. And, you know, I wound up writing a 7-page poem like, oh, I hate you. Why would you even, da-da-da, you know? And I had read it so many times, I accidentally memorized it. So fast forward to college, I'm chilling with my homegirl. She was a theater major. She was going through some of her monologues. And I was like, oh, I got something kind of like that. And I just let her hear it, like not even thinking nothing of it. She's like, oh, that was amazing. You need to try for this poetry group. I was like, poetry? I hated poetry. My whole entire life, I hated poetry. It just was not it for me. And she dragged me to the open mic. I was like, okay, you know, it was cool. It wasn't bad, you know, but they were promoting for the poetry slam the next week. And I went to the slam and I was like, what's this? This ain't poetry. This ain't William Shakespeare in here. Like they ain't here really getting to it. And that summer I wrote like 10 poems, and then I tried out for the organization she was talking about, who hosted those events that we went to at the end of my freshman year. And we had 30 seconds. It was like 200 people in the room. It was an open audition. And I went up there. I wasn't nervous. I didn't care, to be honest. And I ripped it. My very first performance set the entire room on fire. And I felt that energy rush through my entire body from the top of my head to the bottom of my feet. And like I said, that was like, it was night and day. From the time I did that piece, all my life before that, I had undiscovered myself. But at that point, I pretty much knew what I was about to be doing for the rest of my life. Cool. Literally, yeah. And it was just up from there.
I feel like that's very Virgo of you. Like, you got it and you was with it.
I was with it. You know what I'm saying? A little proof of concept, bet. Run it.
And you're very deep into it. Like it's not just like a surface level thing. You are in it for real. I
am in it up to my forehead with it. Like for real. Like I the science behind it, the history of it, its resurgence, and putting myself on the front line as a trailblazer to expose people to it at a faster rate. You know, not just through my talent, but through the intelligence that's built around it.
You have done poetry in over 20 different states.
Yeah. It's, you know, give her a raise, please. Raise. Okay. Anyway.
Thank you. You've done poetry in over 20 different states.
Yes.
How did you get there?
Okay. So in the beginning, I had a nice little chunk of the Most High just kind of pulling me into spoken word. The first 2 years, I just kept getting invited to stuff. So like I did that open audition. I joined the organization. They wanted me to be the first feature for their first event. So I did the feature. From there, I got invited to another college. At that college, they was like, hey, can you come over to our college? And from there, they went to another college. Now I'm in Boston. Now I'm in Vegas. Now I'm in... And then before I knew it, it was time to graduate from school. And I said, I'm not going to be doing this job. You know what I'm saying? I gotta get out there. So I set up an East Coast tour from New York to Miami. I hit 14 different cities in 6 weeks. And I kind of like lied to my job, lied to my family, told them I was like, hey, I'm just doing this little 6-week tour and I'll be back. And that was 11 years ago. so yeah, I went on going on a 10-year journey of just kind of traveling, performing. And it's important to say I didn't just perform in 20 states. I was invited to feature in 20 states. You know what I'm saying? Like I wasn't just like they wanted me there type of thing. You know what I'm saying?
Call and you answered.
I got the call and I answered for sure. Yeah.
You differentiate poetry and spoken word.
Whew. Come on now.
Hey, can you tell me what the difference is?
So, this is my ministry now. We're getting into the word right now. You know what I'm saying? But
really do feel like a preacher when you do poetry. Like you got people in the crowd. Yes.
Just spring some holy water. I'm gonna start carrying holy water around. Just start throwing it out there. People just
with the word.
Right. You know what I'm saying? So, but yeah, there are. This is a common misconception, and it's unfortunately what's kind of holding both of them back, I want to say, because a lot of people go into poetry spaces expecting spoken word and they get judgy, and then some people are poet heads and they go into spoken word spaces expecting it to be less than, you know what I'm saying, and it kind of turns it. So if we kind of draw the line in the sand, I think we can prosper more on both sides. And we have to also understand that both sides need each other. But there are four distinctive elements that distinguish spoken word from poetry. And that is waking the spirit, saying it with your chest, body language, and engaging the audience. A lot of times people will hear a spoken word piece and they'll judge the merit of how great it is based on how they feel about the context of what they said. And that is a poetry element. That is a poetry measuring stick. But there is a difference between a great performance and a not so great performance. But because we like what they said, we automatically dismiss the fact that they weren't saying it with their chest. We dismiss the fact that their body language didn't match the words coming out of their mouth. We dismiss the fact that they weren't engaging the audience. Spoken word is the original form of live entertainment. Like all live entertainment derives from spoken word. Poetry derives from spoken word. Dancing, singing, all these elements came from spoken word. It started all the way back in Africa. You know what I'm saying? And we ain't got to get into the whole history of that, but it's, I mean, we only got about 20 minutes. We can be here all day with it. I'm trying to tell you, like, I've like obsessed myself with discovering this stuff and not even discovering it because it's not even new. You know what I'm saying? Like, it just got lost. You know what I'm saying? There's a saying like the last shall be first and the first shall be last. Well, spoken word was the first. It started everything and now it's last. Spoken word artists and poets, we are always undervaluing ourselves. We're always not charging enough. We're always not taking our time seriously. We're not taking our craft and the way we present it seriously. You know, and that's come from this idea that we're just over here in the corner and we're the help for the main event. We're never the headliner. We open up for the headliner. No, we are headliners. We gave birth to the headliners. You see what I'm saying? So It's important that we kind of start taking our power back. And that's what I've charged myself with stuff like, you know, the performance science. Yeah.
Okay. No, you really have gotten it down to a science.
It is literally measurable. You can measure how great a performance is or is not. Yeah, literally.
You've done that with your app, Stage Buddy?
Yeah. Who is this? Like, yes, absolutely. So yeah, Stage Buddy is something I've actually been working on. Stage Buddy for years. I just didn't give it a name in the architecture infrastructure that I have now until recently. But that started back in 2020. 2020 was when I decided to. I just woke up one day in the middle of COVID and I was like, I want to get better. Like literally, it just came out of nowhere. Like it was nothing wrong. I had gigs. I was still hot. I was still good. Like everything with the phone was still ringing. Like, but I just said, I just want to get better. And when I went to seek out the resources, it was just like writing workshops. And like, we're so saturated with writing workshops. Poetry has such a stronghold on both that we don't realize that we're not providing enough resources and information and outlets to grow as performers. A lot of us believe that writing better is going to make our performance better. And I think that's far from the truth. It's going to make your writing better. It's going to make somebody reading it feel it more on the page. But when you go from the page to the stage, that's a whole different medium. It's like drawing and painting. You know what I'm saying? You can sketch the drawing out. You know what I'm saying? Sketch the painting out on a piece of paper. But when you go to the canvas and you put that paintbrush in your hand and you're using these oils and these pastel, this is a whole different medium. You're using a lot of different tools to bring this masterpiece to life, you know? And I was like, no, like, I don't want to draw. I want to paint. You know what I'm saying? So I just started like working on myself. I just used myself as the original vessel. Like, okay, what am I doing when I'm actually getting up there? Okay, well, I always open up with a mantra. I always use the mantra to kind of calm my nerves. Okay, so I'm aligning myself with the piece. So that's waking the spirit of the piece, because there's the spirit of the author, but then there's the spirit of the speaker of the piece. And those two have to be aligned. So that's waking the spirit. Okay, then what? Okay, then I got to say it with my chest. I got to make sure I'm projecting. I got to make sure I have voice control behind everything I'm saying, breath control behind everything I'm saying. Okay, cool. And then body language and engaging the audience, because it's not some TV you're watching, like spoken word, it's live. we right there. Like we in the same room together. If I don't engage you, if I don't acknowledge you, that I'm taking away from the quality and the impact of this performance. But a lot of times we're taught, well, just look at the back of the room and don't look at nobody. I'm against that. That's not engaging the audience. You know what I'm saying? You want to bring everybody in and make it a communal thing, because that's where spoken word started. It started in the community. There were griots. These were historians who would tell the history of the people, and they would do it in this creative way that they could relate to, and they would have these call and responses. They would say stuff back to me. When I say this, you say that. When you say this, you see what I'm saying? So I created that, and once I did it, I was just using it on myself, and like my skill set just skyrocketed from there. I was already a monster. Like I turned into an alien, like for real, like seriously. And I had the most bookings I ever had in 1 month. I had 12 paid bookings in 1 month in March 2021. And I felt like that was a product of all of the work I was putting in on myself and then displaying that, whether that was virtually or in person somewhere. And from there, I was like, okay, well, this is an actual science. Like, I need to be sharing this with people. So I challenged myself to educate 100 poets, 100 artists. I was going to reach out to 100 different artists, do 100 workshops, and I wanted to do it within a year. And I completed it in like 9 months. So yeah, appreciate it. And thank you. And we've helped hundreds of artists with this performance science since then. And that alone, that journey itself taught me even more about the game. Cause like, I'm thinking I'm like educating them, but they're telling me like all of their flaws, all the things that they worry about, them hating their voice and all these other things. And then the education just exploded. Cause like I knew what would help me, but now I'm learning what actually helps everybody else. So now it's just on a whole nother level, and it transformed into what we call today's Stage Buddy. Yeah.
I like that it was a give and take process.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't just you taking from the world and hoarding it. And it wasn't just you giving to the world and the world not giving back. It was truly you learned by doing and meeting other people and moving forward like that.
Yeah, that's how you know it's aligned for sure.
Right. You really do sound like you're in alignment, and it was cultivated through getting to know yourself.
Yeah.
I love that.
Right? You felt that? I felt it. Anyway.
No, yeah. I've actually never heard you I've heard one piece multiple times, but other than that, I've never heard the same piece anytime I've seen you. What is it like forming a set for a feature?
Man, now see, you asking the juicy questions. So I pride myself in not doing the same feature twice. There are a few that I've kind of like, brought back after some time. Like I had this one that's like one of my favorites, like, and I love doing it, and it's like timeless, you know what I'm saying? So it's not like it's going to like be dated at any point. Like it could be 10 years later, I could still do that same set and it's going to hit. But I'll actually learn this from Ed Mabry. Ed Mabry is one of my spoken word performance idols. And he did a feature in Atlanta. It was like 2018. And I was like, yes, I'm doing that. I'm stealing it. and I just I challenged myself again. So I was like, all right, so for a year, I had 1 year, I think it was it 22, 21, might have been 19. I'm not sure. But basically I had like 49 features that year. And I challenged myself to do a different feature every time. Wow. So that obviously it requires you to write a lot more, but even with the same pieces, I would rearrange them. I would tell a different story. I would make sure the transitions were different. I make sure it was like aligned with where I was at, with the theme of the show or whatever was going on in the world, whether it was a holiday or what have you. And I just challenged myself, and I said, I'm just going to do a different set every time. And I've been still doing that to this day. I try to do a different set every single time, tell a completely different story every single time. And so yeah, that's just one of the fun things that I like to do. Features, that's a whole nother science. We ain't gonna get into that today. But yeah, it's very, very important that we challenge ourselves and push the craft forward and not to get comfortable with the same 2-3 pieces every for 10, 20 years.
I love that.
Not to take shots at anybody, but pew.
No, really. I hope they catch they're not strays because they were aimed right at them.
They were aimed directly.
Yeah.
Chest.
So yeah, I am excited to see what you have chosen to give us today.
Yeah.
Would you like to preface it before you go, or you just want to?
The only thing I'll say is I guess really the last thing I just said is the perfect preface. Like the last piece I just gave you is exactly what I need to say to open up the piece. But it's called 10,000 Hours.
Okay.
And we all know about, you 10,000 hours to become a master. We'll see. Okay.
Okay. Hey, we are about to hear 10,000 Hours by the amazing Mr. B Rock. Thank you. Thank you.
So you think that you're a master? Silly rabbit. You're no master. You don't even know the difference between a poet and a spoken word artist. There are 4 key elements. 1, wake the spirit. 2, say it with your chest. 3, body language. 4, engaging the audience. How you doing? How you doing? How you doing? You're no master. Oh, you've put in 10,000 hours, you say. But what's 10,000 hours if you was only training to be average? Training to be mediocre. If you was a rock and I threw you in the ocean, you wouldn't even scratch the surface. Wouldn't even cause a ripple. Wouldn't cause any damage. You're not even a pebble. You're an atom. That means you need a whole bunch of other elements to even matter. What's 10,000 hours if you didn't produce a single classic? I don't mean going platinum. I mean creating something a million other people couldn't fathom. Your stuff sound like you and a million other people all took the same classes. I was there too. But the difference is I was there to learn and expand it. You were there just to pass it. But degrees don't make you hotter. A title don't make you official. Because you can be the smartest one in the room and still be fetching the boss a sandwich. Nowadays, dudes want a gold star for trying. That's like getting a gold star for dying. You want props for acting out scenes that are supposed to naturally happen. But in the movie of every champion is all the hard work towards the destiny he imagined. Losers will call it luck. Haters will call it magic. They'll look at me and say, it's because I'm tall and fine. That's how I got mine. But where were you when I was fighting for 2 years from going blind? Where were you when I was waking up at 6 a.m. every day because my college tried to kick me out of school on my birthday? Where was you when my first dad rolled the rock, the second one got locked, and the third one got shot? Where were you the first 18 years of my life when my family moved 22 times from block to block? I trained with the gorillas, lions, and vipers, became an alchemist, but you call it a speaker or a writer. There was so much pain in my pen, the first poem I wrote was called Please Help. But I kept writing, became enlightened, and the next poem was for my health. I used the exact same pen to write a business plan that's now contributing to my wealth, and that's what 10,000 hours is supposed to do. But 10,000 hours later, you still talking about what hurt you. 10,000 hours later, and the best you can offer us is the worst of you. If words have power, then my friend, you are the one cursing you. Allow the child inside and let these rhymes nurse you. But when you take this medicine, you will never forget that time is absolutely worthless unless it's time well spent. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm Dime. Because even in the dark, she be shining, showing me her many phases with ease, willing to please and be pleased. She be my moon mommy. And you are watching The Spotlight on Cluster TV. I truly love hearing him do his poetry because every single time it's like you're going to get a little laugh, but you're going to get a great message as well. And I love that. That's true for both of the poets that we have on the show today. So please welcome the wonderful, unique. Oh, yeah. Oh, my goodness. I love you. I love you. This is really my best friend, y'all. I love that. I love that. Get the mic close. Ooh.
Get in here. You know, you got to kind of come back down to earth. B Rock kind of up there in the skies.
I agree.
That's a tall man.
No, yeah. He put his head on the lamp.
Put him off our street.
I'm sorry, I wasn't, but then I had to because it was funny. We all had to be there.
Okay,
no,
be serious.
Okay, serious. You're an amazing poet.
Thank you.
Yes, you are from Memphis.
I am.
You lived in LA.
I did.
You've been all around the world.
All around the world and back again.
Not quite truly.
And
How are you doing?
I'm here. I am defrosting.
Okay.
You know, wintertime sadness
Okay.
season. She could be a little rough. So now we're in the spring and I'm defrosting and refocusing on keeping balance in my life because there's a lot going on. So yeah, that's how I am.
Mm-hmm. The last time you were here was August.
Mhm.
We were actually on the same episode.
Full circle moments.
I know,
We love
right?
those.
You had just LLC'd the
Mhm.
Little Treehouse,
Mm-hmm.
and you just started putting on events.
Yes.
What was the first event, and what prompted you to do events?
The first event was Working Herbs. Working Herbs is a wellness-centered kickback for artists in the local Atlanta artistic community to come into the Little Treehouse, which is my home. And we study herbs for use of natural remedies or recreational use in your everyday life and how they can positively impact you and help you heal and all of the things. But then it's also a general space for us to come together and fellowship and check in on each other and see how we're doing, and commune outside of shows, outside of features, outside of the club, outside of, like just take a beat, take a step back, take a breather, and love on ourselves and love on each other.
I like that.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like I jumped the gun in asking about the events and not having you actually say what the Treehouse is and how it was birthed.
Yeah. I love the treehouse birth story. It's funny too because actually I just talked to my older cousin who lives in LA a couple of days ago this week, and he saw me post something in my Instagram notes about the treehouse, I believe, and he asked me about it. He asked me, "Did you get it going?" And I was like, "Yeah, it was." And I told him everything that was going on, and he reminded me that he and I had this conversation in his house back in 2023, which is a conversation I also had been having with my sister, that I wanted to create a community third space that mirrored the energy of my grandmother's house, our grandmother's house, because it was the one place in the world that was always safe, to me. It was the one place where my inner child lived like the most, and we were like the most ridiculous, and there was talent shows in the living room and studio sessions in the back room, and like, grandma's house, and just that unconditional love that you get from grandma. She's always in that chair in the front room. She's always going to make sure you get a good nourishing meal in your body. She's going to hug you and kiss you and tell you you're valuable, and she's going to give it to you straight, give you something, give you wise advice, wise counsel, very godly woman. And so I wanted to duplicate that energy because I missed it, and I needed it, and I was missing a core community because I was no longer a part of the church. And so that was that was the intention. That's where the initial ideas for the Little Treehouse came from, and then at that time I was calling it the Village, and then it became the Treehouse, just by divine stream of consciousness. But the actual steps happened when what was it, 2023? 2024.
Yeah.
December 2024. You and I were planning a celebration for your post sober month. Mm-hmm. And I said, let's come over playing herbs. And then a few of our other friends ended up being invited, and then it became a little kickback. And then I posted videos on Instagram, and then other people that we knew were like, hey, let me in. Yeah. I need this type of space. I need this type of community. And so after a few months of tussling with God and avoiding the call, I finally opened up Working Herbs to the public for the first time, and it went amazing. And then from there, that was June of 25. So from there, it's been off to the races.
You spoke about finding balance as you defrost.
Mm-hmm.
How are you balancing that and the activities of the Treehouse?
Ugh. I actually took a break. I actually let myself pass out and having an actual hiatus from being a community leader, a community organizer. Most of February and March was me resting. me getting my energy back, me figuring out what it means to love into me as fiercely as I've taken on the charge to love into everybody else.
You're amazing.
I love you.
No, yeah, somehow you are transmuting all of this energy into help. I mean, it's kind of the same thing that I noted with B Rockstar, is that it's a give and take.
Mm-hmm.
You're not just taking from the world, or you're not just giving too much. You are finding that balance in the middle. Yes. How are you balancing your poetry with the events?
Oof. That's a great question. Honestly, I had this conversation with one of our mutual friends and colleagues, because we are all colleagues too. And I was telling him that, like, I had just done an impromptu performance. I went to support one of our friends, Mello, at the movement, and when I got there, he ended up asking me if I wanted to get on the mic. I said yes. I did a poem that is one of my classics and that I know in my spirit, and I was not satisfied with that performance. And so I was telling him that I feel like I've been so focused on community and events and community organizing that the 10,000 hours I normally give to poetry and spoken word, I had not been given. So I was not satisfied with the quality of my performance. So also in this hiatus, I also took that opportunity to give back into the love of my life in the way that she deserves.
I like that you called... What the...
You need some water, my love.
I love that you called poetry the love of your life. How do you cultivate this love between you and poetry?
I treat her with reverence, and I serve her people in her community through the treehouse, through every performance. I'm very intentional with how I create sets and what I say. I don't speak just to speak. I speak to improve upon silence. I try to engage with literature critically with honor and respect, and I try to read, and I try to make sure that when I speak on things, I'm speaking from a founded place, a grounded place. I'm not just running my mouth to hear myself speak. I make sure that the people around me, or I try to create space for the people around me to also engage critically with writing, literature, and poetry in that way, which is why a lot of the events in the past few months at the Treehouse and coming up are focused on learning and education, and not necessarily shows. It's rehearsal, it's practice, it's try and fail, it's be bad. Have a safe space to be bad and figure out what good looks like for you. So that's how I try to always give back to her.
I like that. I like the be bad and learn how it can give back to you. I feel like that is very grandma's house energy.
Oh my God.
I had two grandmas. So one was like, I could be bad.
Yeah.
And the other one was like, don't be too bad.
Yeah. Straighten up. Yeah. You get that schoolwork, Yeah. I had that too. Oh. She was strict. That one was strict. But she was still grandma. It was like strict in a grandma's way.
Did your grandmas encourage you to do poetry? I know your mom did poetry.
So honestly, I didn't find out I was a poet or an artist or spoken word artist until I was like 26 or 27 years old. So in that one, grandma has passed on. The one that is still alive, in that respect, of course, she supports anything that I come home saying I'm doing. But, I didn't know. So they didn't have the opportunity. I still consider myself a fetus in this here poetry spoken word game.
I love that. That is so funny how we align on that. But we align on a lot of things. So
yeah.
I love you. We are going to hear some more poetry from you. And I'll come back and ask you some more stuff. Do you want to preface the poem that you're going to do for us? Sure.
So I was on the bus on the way over here, and I overheard a conversation between two young black men, and one of them, they were talking about their neighborhood and where they're from. And one of them was saying, like, man, I'm not trying to prove how big my bag is. I'm not trying to prove how big my gun is. I'm trying to make a little money and get home safe. I want us all to make some money and get home safe. And so this is dedicated to those young men that were having that conversation. This is ode to the ghetto soldiers.
Okay. Soldiers.
Hold on, Unique, before we kick out, I'm gonna give this to Don.
Oh. Thank you.
Oh, here we go again. Got to come down from the heavens. Oh, okay. Okay. Just push it is crazy. Okay. This is an ode to the ghetto soldiers, to the kids who were taught to hold fear in their hands like a piece of steel, who learned to spray their devastations in the streets and make meal out of roadkill, who built empires off of burnt flour, mud pies, and baby powder. This is your salute. As many days as we've watched you return home, there's never been a parade in the streets to welcome you. No claps and cheers in appreciation of your service. No medal of honor to honor you. But if you give me a second, I'd like to acknowledge you. To affirm that we've watched you spend too many years hard time on the front lines of a war that you never bargained for. You were just a kid chasing street light curfews and trying not to cross the invisible red line or else they'd murk the blues out of you. The only green light was the green box you split mud pies on, dreaming of visions of living with riches and getting your army out of this hellhole. But you see, poverty is a closed dome kind of fight. It comes with prefixed positions and predetermined endings. There are only so many maggots that are allowed to play their way out of this caste system. The best warfare has always been psychological. Starvation will surely bring the cannibal out of you, have you nipping at the hands of people meant to strategize a game plan with you. The spear then cut off your visual of what's supposed to be available to you. So your judgment is clouded, thinking your neighbors are the only ones sneaky enough to deceive you. Now you in the streets trading pieces with people still living in pieces, and now the soul of your block no longer knows what peace is. And even when you point the gun to the ceiling, the bullets are meant to ricochet, so you still become the victim. They'll call it a suicide, I call it murder by the system. Gunshots ring out so often they go from wake-up calls to lullabies. Explosions become the background music of Saturday morning cleaning routines. Living was never the cause you were supposed to be a martyr for. This is a genocide that they refuse to name, so you done lost battles in battle before you ever turned 18. Their formula is working. It's our mission to continue to pool resources, to strengthen the armed forces, to stand at attention against the real enemy. It's not you, and it's not me. But this is for the soldiers who don't wear camouflage or dress blues, who never went to boot camp but still learned to empty the body of their enemies with immunity. Whether you serve on the south side of Atlanta, Georgia, or like my family, the north side of Memphis, Tennessee. This is for the ones who tote guns, for the ones who flip funds, for the ones who choose to stay in broom closets waxing spiritual with their tongue, for the ones walking around feeling remorse for having survived that war zone. When you hear this, I hope you consider it your war song.
Peace, y'all. It's 8. Almost ran off track. Flip switch illuminate. Nigga, we on. Circling tracks on track. Like he two clones. Really only one king sitting on the true throne. And you watching the Spotlight on Cluster TV.
When did you write that piece?
Ooh, when did I write Ode to the Ghetto Soldiers? I was living here in LA. My God.
Yeah, I was like, here
in LA is crazy. Here in Atlanta. I guess because Atlanta turns out to be everything that I thought LA was going to be for me. Clock that. I wrote that 2024. It was medium beginning 2024.
Okay.
Medium beginning 2024. And I do think it was one of those stream of consciousness poems, and just thinking about my family and the things that we have survived and thrived through, thinking about the families around me, the families and neighborhoods near mine, and just wanting to write a piece that like highlighted like, bro, we really been at war all our lives. Even if your war zone didn't include guns, you are of any sort of minority, at any intersection of minority, you are poor in the United States, you are at war. And your enemies are not the people that stay in the house next to you. And I wanted to highlight that, and I wanted to write a piece that said, like, we are stronger together. And matter of fact, it is necessary that we be more together. And I think that reflects in my writing work and in my community work, which is why my poetry and my community work go so well together.
They really do. You write about your world, as I think all poets do, but you use the words to display that so well, and you really get the feeling in your poem.
Shout out to that social work degree.
Oh, yes. Funny enough, both you and B Rockstar had majors and then switched your majors for one reason or another. How did you land on what you ended up majoring in?
I actually went into school a music business major. Actually, I was dead set that I was going to be somebody's tour manager. So I went to Middle Tennessee State because they have a really great music business program. But when I was like in the prerequisites, it was kind of like, like, I don't want to do all that. I don't want to do all that. And then I also end up taking, a social work class because I had a lot of open spots for electives. So I ended up taking like a social work class for an elective because it's not something that wasn't already in my spirit. One of the things I used to say growing up was that one of the things I wanted to do was work in adoption and foster care because of the situation with my mom and my siblings. So it wasn't far-fetched. But then I took that class and I was like, oh no, actually, this is where I want to be. This is where I say one of the first times I got radicalized. I took an at-risk youth class and learned more about the story of Centonia Brown, who was at the time a 16-year-old girl who was being sex trafficked, and she killed one of her traffickers after, and they sentenced her to life in prison. And the entire class was based around her story in at-risk youth, and that was kind of like, oh, I got to get in there. I got to get in the field. I got to get in the field for real. So that's where the switch came from.
Okay. Well, I love that it has led you here.
Yeah.
I love that I met you. You like to call yourself the neighborhood princess.
Yeah. Where
did this come from?
I've always been that child. One of my my favorite princess is Cinderella, specifically Rodgers and Hammerstein, Brandy and Whitney Houston. Let's be very clear. So that was always my favorite sort of princess movie. So I've always kind of been that girl growing up. Like I always was the girl that had the tiara on her birthday, and I wanted to twirl around and things like that. So that just was a thing. And then I think as I called myself princess as I came into full adulthood and being an artist and a poet, and I thought about who I was and what it meant to be royalty. I wanted to really bring to light that, like, yeah, I like calling myself princess because it's cute and, it invokes a sort of like spoiled treatment because everybody wants to honor the princess. But I get honored because I show that being a princess is about your service and being a leader, because princess, leader, steward, all of them, same thing, just a different word for the same thing. And it's about being the one that's going to serve the most or the hardest or the fiercest or is going to take the lead on serving. You know what I'm saying? I always watched my preachers, my grandmother, wash people's feet. Not the ushers, not the deacon board. My grandmother, the pastor, the preacher, they got down there and they washed people's feet. And so that was my sort of intention and purpose or how I guess transformed princess into adulthood versus, little girl with a tiara and a poofy dress to an adult with a platform and a responsibility.
I like how you have taken your childhood aspirations and brought them to life. I think you are very good at speaking truth to power or truth to life. Has this always been a thing, or are we stepping more into it because we do poetry?
I think we found I think through being found by poetry and spoken word, I found out that that's where my magic is. And I can look back in, over the years, of my life and see where I've always been good at speaking the thing into existence, or speaking life into places and people. But it was through becoming a poet and a spoken word artist that I realized that that's where my magic is, and that's where I get real witchy, when I pull that pen out, and I get to talking. So, yeah, now we lean into it more.
I like it. I like it. You have said it, and I've heard other people say it, that, like, they didn't know how spicy you are. I feel like spicy is not really the right word, but, like, you are not what you seem like just off first glance.
Gotta keep you on your toes.
That's very true. And you do. How has that played a part in your poetry? And I guess in your community work as well. The spiciness.
I think it's helping me learn to set boundaries and to be more firm. First and foremost for myself, because if I am not well and protected, I cannot serve. So I've had to learn to love that spiciness out of me. And credit to my best friend, because you help. She, to the people at home, is definitely always one in my ear that is like, no, you don't have to do that. F that, F them. Take care of yourself. If you don't want to do it, say no. That's not your responsibility. Like, she be on my neck. So. So that has helped me bring that out, to sort of set boundaries. And then, of course, that also goes into setting boundaries for the community home, the treehouse. Because if this works, and that's my whole point, right? This only works if we all work it. It was never meant for me to be grandma coming in, you coming over, and I'm cooking everybody 3 meals a day. I'm cleaning up after everybody. I'm washing and folding your clothes. No, it was never meant to be that. It was meant to be a community home in which we all do the work to keep it going. And so in being the servant leader, you do have to be a little bit strict, and you have to learn to, tell people when they're taking it too far in love. You're not yelling at people, you're not fussing them out, but like, you did not hold up your end of the bargain, or you took it too far. I gave you an inch and you ran 10 miles. We got to bring it back in. Or, you know what I'm saying? If you are not going to come into this space with this type of energy, or with these types of intentions, then maybe right now is not the time for you to try to inundate yourself into this community. That's not to be exclusionary, but that's to protect the whole, because that's also your responsibility. And why I have to learn to be even spicier is because as servant leader, I'm charged with being a protector as well. So I have to protect the space, and I have to protect the people that it serves.
Yeah, I think you do a good job.
Thank you.
Yeah. You are working on bringing a couple of workshops before the end of the month to the Treehouse.
Yes,
Can you explain what those are?
So happy National Poetry Month. So April 24th through the 26th at the Little Treehouse. It's not an overnight thing at the Treehouse. I had a couple of people ask me that already. But April 24th through 26th, we are hosting our first Poets Intensive and Appreciation Weekend. There will be 3 days of workshops, 3 days of family dinners, 3 days of building our brands, increasing our marketability, sharpening ourselves, not just as artists, but as business people, because the people that are coming, the intention with building this is for those poets, artists who say, I want poetry to pay me in one way or another, whether you only pay a light bill every month or whether I can go on a 10-year run like B Rock and not have to have a day job. You know what I mean? This is for you. And so we've set up workshops, which I'll be leading my first one. That Friday night, I'll be hosting Unmiked, which is to be a therapeutic play group and community dinner for poets and poets only. It will also be ciphering. Saturday, we're doing First Class Brunch, which will feature, we got KJ to come and take headshots for everybody. And / yearbook pictures for the Treehouse. We are planning to host a page to pay workshop, which is to help people build their first websites and EPKs so that they can be located and booked. Of course, we'll be serving brunch. And then Sunday, we will have a prize-winning poetry workshop. I'm not gonna say who's leading that one yet, but it's definitely one of my favorite poets, definitely a staple in the Atlanta poetry community, and somebody who has also been around the world and won, poetry competitions from here to there. And then we'll end with a rap party. So it's gonna be a full weekend. We're gonna be full in every way possible, from the Rudy to the Tootie. So I'm excited. So be on the lookout for the full details and ticket links and things like that.
Okay. Where can people follow you to find this?
At Unique and the Little Treehouse on Instagram, spelled all the way out as is, at Unique and the Little Treehouse. Think Princess and the Frog, if you ever need a reference point.
Okay. We are about to get into your last poem of the show.
Yeah.
Would you like to preface it?
No, because which one do you want to hear?
Which one do I want to hear?
Yeah. It's your birthday. Happy birthday to my best friend, guys.
Thank you.
And shop her brand, Hippie Logic.
Aren't you cool? You got some erotic?
No. I knew you was going to. Never mind. I'm not going to ask you. No.
You said you was working on something. It
So
don't have to be that one.
finished,
It could be the other one. It could.
What other
I mean, do you, boo? I want to hear what you do.
I knew you was going to say that. Ooh. Okay. Dear God, make me a martyr. Outfit me in titanium plated armor, shield me in plastic, purchased through breeze and sold by martyr. Make sure my body is set to sacrifice. Position me wet paint on pavements. If they gonna kill me in this battle, make sure they mean it. If they want my breath and its body, it damn sure ain't gonna be easy. I come from a lineage of women that never made it child's play to get them on their backs. Refused to allow you to make feast of their slaughter. Reincarnated themselves more like poison, birth ivy into their children. Released them into a world groomed in sickness, say grow. Into the thorns in their throat, make them choke. Show them resilience ain't in the killing, but oh, you done pushed us now, so fuck it, revenge it is. Lucky for you, we come with a little bit of mercy. So while we burn down your Wall Street, we ain't gonna touch them kids. So when your child plays fair at Fruitville Station on New Year's Day, his mother won't need a severance check due to an unjust firing. Her mother won't have to cradle her baby till queendom come. Her mother won't have to come scrape 3 iterations of her womb off the pavements. Her mother won't be awakened to the sound of preventable death at the hands of trained professional. Her mother won't have to redress herself in protest suit. Her mother won't have had to teach her children how to drown. Her children will survive because mother learned to dress them in riot gear before they stepped onto the platform. Taught them to style protection in their mane, cornrows where the rice goes so they can never force you malnourished. Hid secret family recipes inside bad religion, showed them being the church. Planted God inside their hearts like reoccurring new growth. Gave them language to make lashings out of their tongue while they climbed ladders that they were never meant to come down from. Our mothers will know children that survive because this world has made her their first martyr. Our mothers will have raised children that live long even when this world tries to make them a martyr, because our mothers taught us to know our rights and to never stop speaking.
Oh my. I love how I told her to do an erotic piece and she went completely the opposite way. We love an independent woman. That has been the 3rd episode of The Spotlight on Cluster TV. Please follow us on Instagram at @the_spotlight_poetry. And this is also our first episode on YouTube. So if you are listening there, or if you're on Cluster TV, hop over there and give us a like, comment, and subscription. We would love that. Yes, until the next episode, keep becoming great. I'm Dime. How are you feeling after your interview at the Spotlight?
The masses. I'm on top of my classes with countless classics influenced by Cadillac contrasts. I'm on your asses, no ass kids, bitches, slower than molasses. Big Boy was probably in my auntie classes, and I say the South got something to say.
Feel pretty good. Definitely think it was a dope
got older, it's like the journal entries would have rhythm to it. And I'd be writing like, today I'll write in my journal, next thing I know, maybe like 2 or 3 sentences, then it's poetry. And I'm just going and I'm like, stop the bars and write what you're So sometimes I have to stop myself from doing poetry.
We gotta be brave around here. I don't care about what you feel.